They make a fortune from mining copper here. But Chile's government has also made Iquique one of the biggest tax-free ports in South America, which means hundreds of firms import and export electronics, appliances, toys, booze, and especially clothes. I drove outside the city, to the fringes of the desert. This is a strange, barren area, right underneath these looming cliffs. Oh my God. Just had one of those moments of awful realization. So what I'm standing on is clothes. Underneath my feet, underneath the ground over here, there are tens of thousands of tons of clothes. I was above what is basically a mountain of used, discarded clothes. Each year recently here in Iquique, it's thought an incredible 60,000 tons of clothing have been dumped illegally. The council had just bulldozed it all into the ground, creating an enormous landfill. You can see these layers and layers of clothing coming out of the ground here. A pair of trousers here. It is mad that we create this clothing and then so readily throw it away. It takes more than 3 tons of water to produce a pair of jeans. And then, boom, it's chucked. Traders here import bales of recycled clothes from Europe and the US. They resell them across the continent and many clothes do find a new home. But due to the explosion in so-called fast fashion, there's now just so much. A tidal wave of cheap clothing that millions of pieces are dumped here, showing perhaps how wasteful we've become. Bloody hell. This is I almost can't believe it. So this is 100% pure cashmere jacket. This is madness. This was something called Peterborough Row, only at Bloomingdale's, one of the finest stores in New York. Just staggered. Clothes with tags on. These have come straight from stores. Huh. Gap. It's not quite my size. We're addicted to clothing trends and fast fashion. In the UK in 2019, we spent a whopping £61 billion on new outfits, the highest level in Europe. Many clothes are worn just a few times and then chucked. And there's an environmental cost. The clothing industry pollutes. It's said to use 1/4 of all the chemicals made on Earth. This is really the clothing industry's dirty secret. This is where fast fashion and old favourites go to die. In the UK now, we throw away something like 13 million items of clothing per week. I think the clothing industry globally, it has got away almost under the radar environmentally for far too long. There's a focus on other industries, but the clothing industry has an enormous ecological footprint. It's responsible for about 10% of all carbon dioxide emissions. That's as much as international flights and shipping combined.